screen record for you, darling. I mean, who do you want me to read? Who do you want me to read for you today, darling? I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. You guys, Jerry. Now, who is Jerry to you, darling? Who is Jerry to you? What is the relationship to you? It helps me better to know the relationship, my loves. Gotta stretch my fingers. Ah, your grandfather. I was feeling a male energy before you come on here. You guys, don't forget, I'm going to be in a battle tonight at 10:30. My agency wants me to do a battle, so that's what I'm going to do. Just so you guys know. Okay. Okay, well, I've never heard this old before. What I'm hearing from Grandpa Jerry, did he live to be in his 90s? I just heard like 92. If not, would he be in his 90s by now? Because I feel like sometimes when they tell me this, that's how old they would be now. When they passed away. So was your grandfather in his 90s when he passed away? He would be now. Very good. Now what I heard was 70s. Was he in his 70s when he passed away? I just heard like 71. So he's telling me he would be like in his early 90s now. Okay, very good. That's what I thought, because that's what they do. Hey, Eric, that's what they do. You guys hold comments, please. I'm in a paid reading. Thank you so very much. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Oh, so, okay, wait. I just heard 10. Has he been gone for like 10 years? I literally just heard 10. And I also heard January. Does January mean something to you as well? Is it relevant to you? No, not 10. Okay. No worries. Close to 10? I think close to 10. I just heard 8. Does January mean something to you, darling? I don't know what you were saying no to, darling. Sometimes I don't know when you guys tell me no to something, so I can change course. And honey, I just heard the military. Was your grandfather in the military? January was his birthday? He was in the military? I just heard Navy. Was he in the Navy by chance? Wait. Was he a Navy SEAL? I just heard SEAL. Was he a Navy SEAL? Dude, those are some good guys. He was a Navy SEAL. You're kidding me. That's amazing. Wow. That's crazy. This is the first Navy SEAL I've had in my readings. That's crazy. Wow. Your grandfather was strong, because those Navy SEALs have endurance. They have so much endurance, those Navy SEALs. They're the best of the best of the best of the best of the Navy. Those SEALs train so hard. Yeah, your grandfather tells me he loved doing that. He was in such good shape. He says, I was in such good shape. I was so handsome back then. He says, I was so handsome. All the girls wanted me, he says. Your grandfather was in very good shape. Oh, yes, he was. He was super slim and super muscular and super built. You have to be, Liz, to be a Navy SEAL. That's crazy. That's amazing. Aw. Wow, that's insane. This is the first Navy SEAL I've had on my readings. That's amazing. And I just thank your grandfather for his service. And he says, "Aw, thank you so much." I just thanked him for his service, because what he did for this country was amazing. Do you know if your grandfather was ever in the war? Because I just heard war. Do you know if he was in Vietnam? I just heard Vietnam. Was he in Vietnam as well? Your grandfather's doing so amazing, darling. Yes, because that's what he told me. Vietnam, the Vietnam War. That's what I'm talking about. The Vietnam War. That's what he said, Vietnam, and that's what it means, Vietnam War. That's the war I was talking about in Vietnam. He says that war was awful. He says, I lost so many friends. I lost so many patriots. I lost so many troops in that war, he says. He says it was the worst war he'd ever been in, he says. He says he barely got out of that. Do you know? He says, I barely got out of Vietnam. He said, people say Vietnam, but I think it's Vietnam. I keep hearing Vietnam. He says we never should have been in that war. We never should have been in that war. He says it wasn't our business to be in that war. And it makes him upset still on the other side because he says, I never should have been in that war, he says. Do you know if he got drafted into Vietnam? But do you know if he maybe got drafted? Because I heard drafted. I know, I'm telling you now because he did. It was. Of course he doesn't. He tells me he got drafted. Of course he doesn't. Nobody wants to talk about Vietnam. Why would somebody talk about Vietnam? Vietnam. Nobody wants to talk about. You have his father's draft, really? Was he also drafted into Vietnam? That must be a very old piece of paper. It's probably just trying to disintegrate. It was from so long ago. Over 100 some years ago, you have that paper. That's crazy. Very good. Okay, very good. Wow. Yeah, he says, I didn't like to talk about it because it was too hard to talk about it. He says it was just too hard. It was so bad back then. He can talk about it now because he's no longer alive. But he says it was such an awful war. He said, I saw DEATH everywhere. He says it ruined me being over in Vietnam. He says Vietnam. Gosh. He said it was a BLOODY war. Bloody war. Wow, that's insane. He says I was so out. He says if I didn't make it home, you wouldn't even be here. Do you know if that's true? Because he says if I didn't make it home, you wouldn't even be here. You wouldn't even exist, he says. Yeah, that's what he says. He says, honey, if I didn't make it home, you wouldn't even be here. He says, thank God I made it home from that stupid war. Oh, I hope that wasn't a keyword. Oh my gosh. I never know what to say. Honey, I just heard alcohol. Do you know if your grandfather might have turned to drinking? Because I feel like this, when he got home, it was very hard on him. And I feel like maybe he turned to drinking. Do you know if that's what he did? Because I heard alcohol. So I'm assuming that's what he did. He maybe become an alcoholic for a while. That was such a hard war on everybody. Oh, so his wife did. Oh, so that's the validation. So it was his wife. That's okay. As long as you can validate what I said, it doesn't matter who or what or when. As long as you can validate, that's all that matters to me, darling. Hey, Addie, thank you. Let's see what else I'm hearing. Hold on just a minute, darling. Do you have something of your grandfather's that you keep with you? Because he's making me feel like you have something of his that you keep with him. Because of how much you miss him. Oh, you lost it. Oh, okay. That's okay. He just knew that you had it. He just wanted to let you know that he knew that you had it, okay? I just heard February as I was talking. Does February relate to you in any way? I just heard important. I feel like it was an important month. February. His wife's birthday? That's why it's important. That's why it was his wife's birthday. That's crazy. That's amazing. That's great, darling. I'm glad that he told me that because he really loved his wife. Really. Oh, hold on, you guys. My fingers are cramping. Oh. Their anniversary. I knew it was important, girl. I just heard the 25th. Does any of those pertain to the 25th? Or to you? Does the 25th pertain to you in any way? That's okay. I think it's the 25th because I heard the 25th when we were talking about their anniversary. So I think that's what it was. If not, it's okay. I'm gonna give it a win because I feel like that's close enough. Now he's talking about your mom. Was he your mother's husband? Was he your mother's father? Your grandfather? Was this your mother's father? Because he's talking about your mother. Okay. Now your mom is still alive, correct? You guys, thank you so much for holding comments. Okay, because he wants you to know how much he loves your mom. He says, I miss my daughter very much. I'm with her. She doesn't know, but I'm with her every day, he says. I'm with you. I'm with your mom. I'm with both of you, he says. But he misses your mom very much. Being with her, spending time with her, because she was his baby, he says. Your mom was my baby girl. And no matter how old she got, she was always my baby girl, he says. So sweet, so sweet. Yeah. Would he call her baby girl? I feel like he called her baby girl. I feel like that's what he called her. Baby girl. Sorry, I gotta itch my boob. Sorry, my boob's itching. Sometimes, yeah. But, he said she was always my baby. No matter how old she got, she said she was always my baby, he says. Oh my goodness. He was a very good father. Did your mom ever tell you this? He says, he said, I put my kids first. My kids always came first. Because he says, my kids were the most important thing in the world to me, he says. Now, when I asked him how many kids he had, I heard 3. Did your grandfather have 3 children by chance? Your mom and like a brother and sister or something? Okay, very good. Do you know if they lost a baby? Because he just said he lost one. I don't know if it means like one of the kids passed away or like the mother maybe your grandmother maybe lost a baby. That's what I thought. I was hearing 2 and 1. This is why he spoiled your mom, because she was the only girl. Because I feel a lost baby, because I heard I lost one. So I think they lost a baby as well. Do you know if this baby was young? I feel like it was a very young infant or something. I just heard SIDS. I feel like maybe they lost a baby, a miscarriage. Okay. I was feeling it was a baby, so it was a miscarriage. Okay. I usually get miscarriage, but I actually thought it was a baby this time. Now, I just heard September, darling. Does September mean something to you? No, you're probably right, because I just heard lost baby. I heard lost baby. I don't know why I didn't hear miscarriage, but I think maybe it was a very young baby. I knew it. I knew September. I feel like it's anniversaries, birthdays, all kinds of stuff. Going back to school, who knows? When I was in school, hey Dalton, when I was in school, I didn't go back to school until Labor Day because I lived in Maryland. So I had the whole month of August and we didn't go back to school until after Labor Day. That was my starting of school, was September. I got lucky because now it's middle of August for my grandkids. I'm like, why? August is still summer. Why do they have to start in August? I knew it. I felt anniversaries, people passing away. Yeah, I knew it. Birthdays, everything. Of course. They tell me the months. When they tell me the months, it's very significant, just so you know. They know it's significant. So when I hear the month, it's something important, just so you know. Now, I was asking about how many children you have, and I heard 2. Do you have 2 children? Wait, did you also have a miscarriage too? I feel like you also had a miscarriage as well. Oh, you don't have any. Did you maybe have 2 miscarriages? Oh, your mom has 2 kids. Oh, okay. So maybe that's the 2 I was hearing. Was you and you? Was it a brother? I heard brother. Do you have a brother? So he must have told me about your mom having 2 kids. Oh, a sister. Okay. Very good. I heard miscarriage. I swear. Did your mom have a miscarriage? Do you know? Because I heard miscarriage. I swear I did. I mean, he could be talking about theirs, but I don't know. Okay, he must be talking about his then. Okay, no worries. No worries whatsoever, darling. You guys, I guarantee that I'm the only psychic medium that lays down in bed to do her readings. In fact, I probably know I am the only one. I have to be comfortable because of my back, guys. This is the only way. You know, your grandfather was a very kind man. He had a very old soul. I feel like your grandfather was always very mature for his age. And he's just making me feel like, he was a very good person. Thanks, Dalton. Appreciate you. Your grandfather had a lot of compassion. Did you know that? I felt like he had a lot of compassion in general. Like, he just was a very compassionate person. Yeah, I can tell. Very kind, very sweet, very compassionate, very loving. He was a loving father. Yeah, sweet as anything, I hear. Was he also a very tall man? Because he's making me feel like he's very tall. Like over 6 foot or something. I just heard like 6'2". I feel like he was a very tall man, like 6'2". Do you know if he... Sorry, my nose is bothering me, you guys. Was he 6'2"? Do you know that for a fact? Or you're just kind of guessing? Yeah, that's crazy. He told me 6'2". That's crazy. Did he have like broad... He's telling me he had like really broad shoulders. Like broad shoulders. Does that make sense? And his voice sounds to me like... Did he have kind of like a deep voice? His voice sounds deep to me. Like he's like going like this. Yeah, you got them from him. I have broad shoulders as well. Did he have like a deep voice? He's making me feel like he had a deep voice. Like, that kind of deep, Crazy. Yeah. Listen, look at the tired baby. Look at the tired baby, you guys. Look at the tired baby. Look his eyes. Hold on. Cinnamon. Show him how, look, he don't want to look. Look. He's so tired. His eyes are closing. I had to show him. Maybe that's why Cinnamon came up here. Maybe that's why I showed you the cat. He loved cats? Oh, that's so funny. Oh, he fed too many, he says. I fed way too many. I don't know what I was thinking. I think he had compassion for all animals. He loved animals. Dude, I don't know why I'm hearing penguins. Do you relate to penguins in any way? I literally just heard penguins. I have no idea why I heard penguins, to be honest with you. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. He took time of his day. That brought him a lot of comfort to do that. I think it made him feel special when he did that. Okay. Honey, when I was talking about... Did he ever have a Jeep? Because when I drove around town, what I heard was Jeep. Do you know if your grandfather might have had a Jeep at one point or sometime? Wait, why are you laughing? Did he have a Jeep? He did? He drove around? Are you kidding me? I heard Jeep, Jeep, Jeep. That is hilarious. That is so funny. This is the first make of car that I've heard in a reading because I don't normally hear makes of car. But because when I read driving around, I heard Jeep immediately. Jeep, 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 Jeep. Old Jeep. Yeah. Like a jalopy kind of Jeep. Yeah, I gotcha. He said, I love that car. It was his favorite car. He said, I love that car. I just heard red. Was it red by chance? Had multiple? Okay, yeah. Was the Jeep we're talking about red? I don't know. Mine's a red Jeep Patriot. I don't know if he's talking about mine or what. But I know his was a Jeep, but he told me red. I heard red. You remember the white ones. Okay, no worries. Maybe he's letting me know I have a red Jeep. How did he know I have a red Jeep? Maybe he's telling me about my red Jeep. Because it's not a coincidence that I have a red Jeep Patriot. He had a Jeep Patriot. Are you kidding me? What? Oh my God, that's crazy. Maybe that's why he's letting me know, because mine's red and I said red. He wanted to know it was a Patriot. That's crazy insane. That's so nice. That's so great. I feel a kindred spirit with your grandfather. I sure do, because I have a Jeep Patriot now. As long as I can keep my payments up. Lord, you guys, if I lose my car, I'll just have to quit my job and do this full time, because I'm worried about keeping my payments up on the car, to be honest with you. So, I don't know what else to do. I'm afraid I might lose my car. If it happens, I will just have to quit my job and do this full time. I wouldn't have car insurance. I wouldn't have a car payment. That'd be like $700 less a month for me. I'm just kidding. I don't want to lose my car. I like my freedom too much, but if it happens, it happens. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to lose my car. I love my red. It's all manual. I love my. Sorry, I'm going off on tangent. I apologize. So sorry. He got me excited to talk about my car. Sorry about that. Let's see what else he says. He's laughing at me. Your grandfather's laughing. He just said, I like you. I'm like, I like you too. You're a nice fella. Your grandfather's a very sweet man. I feel like he was also a very flirty man, because he's very flirty right now with me. I feel like he was also very flirty. He said he liked women. Did he love women? Because he says, I loved women. That's what he said exactly. He said, I loved women. That's exactly how he said it. You guys, when I do these readings, I hope that you can feel your person through me. That's how I want to do these readings. I want you to feel like they're here in the room with you. That's how I feel. I feel like when I do these readings, I feel like I take on the personality of the person that I'm reading. So, you know what he said? He said, honey, I know how much you miss me and I love you to pieces. But, you have to know that I'm okay and I'm at peace. He says, I lived such a good, long life. I had many adventures. I had many things happen to me in my life that made me stronger. But, my greatest joy was my children and my grandchildren. He says, that's my greatest joy, is my children and my grandchildren. He said, I would have never gave anything for them, he says. You guys, I'm in a paid reading. Hang on, you guys. Hold on, please. Thank you. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. They're all sleepy. Yeah. He says, that's my leggy. He says, Taylor, honey, you're my legacy. You will keep my legacy alive, he says. Because he says, every time you think about me, every time you talk about me, it makes him know that you are thinking about me. He says, what greater gift than to have your grandkids and grandkids love you? He says there's no greater gift than having a family, having children, having grandchildren. Because he said he lived for you guys. He lived for his kids. He lived for his grandkids. He says you guys were his world. But you know that, he says. He says, you know that you guys were my world, he says. Especially your mom, because she was the only girl. He says, I miss your mom so much. He says, stop, you're shaking me, stop. I feel like they're getting fleas back. I feel like my Seresto collar is wearing out. Just a minute, hold on. Hold on. I gotta stretch, hold on. I gotta go pee after this. So I've been holding myself for an hour because I didn't want to stop the reading because they've been so beautiful. He's thanking you for being such a good girl and for being the person that you are. I feel like you take a lot after your grandfather. I feel like you're very loving and very compassionate and very happy and very friendly. And he says those are the best traits that I passed on to my children and my grandchildren. He taught you guys how to be good people. He says, what better legacy can that be? He says, what better legacy can that be? He says, I love my children so much and my grandchildren. He said, the most important day of his life was every time his children were born and his grandchildren. He said, those were the most important days of my life. But I think you knew that already. You know that. Because he always told you how much he loved you. He always gave you hugs and kisses, he says. He always told you the important things of life because he wanted you to be a good, productive human being. And he says you are. And he's very thankful that he took part in your shaping of you. He says he helped shape you into the person that you are. He says, what greater thing could that be than what I left you? What greater thing could that be than what I did for you? Because he wanted you guys to know the importance of being a good person and being a kind person. Because he says that will get you a long way in life, he says. Are you crying, darling? Because he told me that you're crying with me. Are you crying? Because he just told me that you're crying, honey. You know, I try not to cry during these readings, but I can't help it. I just can't help it. Spirit tells me everything. Spirit tells me when somebody is not who they say they are. I automatically know. So, it is what it is. He's telling me, I love you, kiddo. I'm going to love you always. I'm going to love you forever. He says, I love you to the moon and back. And that's a long way, he says. He says, thank you for being such a good granddaughter. He says, I'll always treasure the times. He says, I'll always treasure the times that we spent together. They were the most important things in his life, spending time with his grandkids. He couldn't get enough of it, he said. He loved you guys so much. He just told me, he says, you keep being how you are. He said he's so proud of the person that you've become. He's so proud of how you are. And he says he's so thankful for you. He says, I love you forever. He says, I love you always. Darling, I think I'm going to leave you with that. Your grandfather did amazing. He told me so many things. He really did. He did a good job. I think I'm going to leave you with that, darling, because what more can I leave you with than that? Knowing that your grandfather, that's the best thing he did, was to have you guys in his life and to be there for you and to protect you. He says, I'm going to try to still protect you from the other side. Thank you. You guys, when I say this, it's word for word. I'm not making this stuff up. It's word for word what they're telling me. He says, I love you, honey. I have to go. He says, don't ever forget the lessons I taught you. And you just keep being you. He says, keep being a good girl, he says. And he just told me to give you a kiss. So I'm giving you a kiss. All right, I'm stopping the recording, darling.